Hi, I'm Alan of God and Gigs, and in this episode, we're going to talk about my time-saving tools, the tips and the tools I'm using to save me loads of time and to give me back the creative space I need to do the things God has blessed me to do. Let's jump right into this. Hi, I'm Alan, the founder of God and Gigs, and I'm here to help you to transform your creative life from the inside out by applying timeless spiritual principles to the temporary creative problems that you might be facing. And it's such an honor and a pleasure for me to come into your eardrums, on your screen, or into your car, wherever you're listening or watching. I hope that you'll review the show by going on to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Now you can actually review the show on Spotify by clicking those stars. I will hope you'll also subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We're everywhere that we believe you want to be so that you can get the information to help you build the best creative life that you can as God has blessed you. We're here to really just connect those dots between the spiritual life and your creative life. So today I wanted to talk about time. Time is something you can't get back. It's the more important than money. If you go back to our last episode, you'll see that we talked a lot about money management and our mindset behind money and simply budgeting in a different way than maybe you've been used to. We recommended a tool for that called Profit First. But this week I wanted to talk about time because time is something that we cannot get back. And creatives, we never seem to have enough time. Now, I would love to right away just refer right back to this book behind me. I think you can see it's in yellow, called Redeeming the Time by Jordan Raynor. Now, we had an episode with him back, I think it was episode 130-ish. I can't remember which one it was, but you got to go back and check that out. Jordan Raynor wrote a book about managing our time as Jesus managed his time. And I really can't go any further into that topic than he did. So definitely go back and check out the episode with Jordan Raynor. Now, I want to tell you about the tools I'm using that help me to organize my time and give me back the days and the hours and the minutes that might get away from me if I wasn't organized. Here's one key that I can tell you right off the bat. Yes, there's only 24 hours in a day. Yes, you've got to eat. Yes, you've got to sleep. Yes, you got to take care of the kids or the wife or the husband. Yes, you got to watch out for family. Yes, you probably maybe have a 9 to 5 or 10 to 5 or 5 to 9. Something that's always taking away your time. So I don't want to jump into all the reasons why you feel stressed, the reasons why you feel like you don't have enough time to do the creative things that God has blessed you to do. Even if you're full-time creative, you probably still feel like you're stressed. Let's not focus on that. Let's focus on those little changes, incremental changes, and tools you can use to not get sucked into the vortex of losing time. Even as I'm recording this right now, I had to make an intentional effort to say, I have the time I need to create this content. And here's how I'll do it. I'll make these changes. I'll make these adjustments. I'll communicate this and I'll communicate that in order to have this going on. Now, you might see in my podcast itself, I've been doing this now since 2017. And since 2020, we have done an episode every Thursday. And we haven't missed one. That's in between the pandemic. That's in between me taking on another full-time job at my church, organizing their podcast. That's also with me continuing with God and Gigs. It's also with me adding on other brands to my music business. I'm not the most busy person in the world, but I'm also definitely not the laziest or the one that has all the time in the world. And I've somehow figured out that, hey, if I'm intentional and I consider the costs, consider what's actually in front of me, and I take some strategies, I can live without being overwhelmed. I can get this stuff done that needs to get done, and I can also let go of the things that need to be letting go of. I just made up a word there. So that's what I want to first encourage you. Don't approach time from a scarcity mindset. Approach it from a mindset of, yes, there is a way. Yes, there is a crunch here, a crunch there, but overall, there is a solution that's available for me. So let me tell you right away some of the tools that I'm using. One of the tools that I believe wholeheartedly in, and maybe you're not this kind of person, but I still believe in the paper planner. Yes, I still write down my appointments. Here's why I write down my paper planner appointments along with a digital situation, a digital system like a Google Calendar. The reason is, at least in my head, things don't really become real until I physically write them down. Now, you may say, well, I've got my reminders on my phone and on my Apple Watch and so on. That's all good. But something about the physical act of putting something on a piece of paper changes the action from simply something that's in the atmosphere until something that is real. So I have found a lot of comfort and a lot of better organization by double checking everything between digital and physical, writing things down in a piece of paper, and then also double checking it with a digital solution. Now, is that a lot of work? Yes. Does it seem like it takes more time? Yes. But it also cements things in my brain where they exist in two different places. I've written it down and I've backed it up with my computer. So now my time management becomes always this little interplay of, hey, this says this, but is it really going to happen? Am I really committed to it? Have I doubled down and written it down and put it in my Google Calendar or my Outlook calendar or whatever you use? I highly recommend that tool of a paper planner plus a digital planner. Now, if that doesn't work for you and you only use one or the other, then that's great. Stick with what works for you. But I'm letting you know that there's an extra layer of security and accountability when you start using two different types of solutions to solve that one problem, because you're not relying on your head, you're not relying on the computer, and you're not relying simply on your paper planner. Now, as far as to-do list management, as far as the things that are on your list, I like what Jordan Raynor calls in his book, a task management system. So your task management system has to be something where you're following through with certain things, and to get that time back, it needs to be quick. Now, another tool that I'm using right now, and I know some people have a love-hate relationship with this, but I'm using my assistant on my Google and my Siri, my Google Home, I believe it's called, and Siri. I'm using those voice-activated commands a lot because I can do it in the car. When I can't remember something or something comes up and I need to do it and I need to get it on the task list, I can tell Siri to put it on my Todoist. That's the app that I use, by the way, Todoist. It's one of, or I think Todoist. How do I say it? I'm sorry. I hope guys at Todoist or Todoist, let me know if I said your app wrong. I hope I didn't mess it up. But that's the app I've chosen. I used the Pro version. And it is so good because there are several integrations that work with voice-activated commands. Because I can quickly say to Todoist, hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. I need to remember this. I need to remember that. It shortens the time between me getting something into my head and getting it into an actionable item that I know I will follow through with. And and it has done wonders for my time. It has done wonders for my productivity. Now I don't find myself worrying that I'm going to forget something. And then when I need to get to it, everything is labeled right there. By the way, I hope you do label your to-do list. Is it in categories? Do you have the things that you do at home versus the thing you do at work? Do you have those things listed and labeled? Because I have started doing that and it's gotten me so much more organized. Now you might say to me, Alan, you really haven't said anything new. You're just saying that these are tools you're using in a certain way, but there's nothing revolutionary about this time management. You're right. Nothing revolutionary about time management has ever really shown up since the days of Adam and Eve. There's been sun, there's been, the sun and moon. There's been, God created the same 24 hours, and that's never changed. So I think one of the big keys that I'm trying to share with you right now is stop looking for the silver bullet and simply look for processes that you will repeat over time. Now, let me talk to my creatives since you are in my audience. Many of us are free spirits. We don't like to be held down to a time. We don't like to be held down to a schedule. We feel like creativity and inspiration should hit any time and I should be free to go there. Let me tell you this. There is freedom in the structure. Yes, you should be free to jump on something whenever it hits you and be able to get a voice note down or create something really quick when inspiration strikes. But the more you have your rest of your life organized and the rest of your life put into perspective and put into place by using things like Todoist, paper planners, by using voice-assisted commands, by making sure that you have a beginning of the week kind of review of what's going to happen and then an ending of the week review of what happened and what you're going to do next week. Whatever system you use, if you apply it, you will find more freedom in that structure. Because now the things that were spinning around in your head are put to bed. they're now off the list, or at least you've put them in. And so now your mind doesn't have this open loop that's running back and forth over what you think you should do and what's going to pop into your head just when you get the great idea to do something creative, the great song idea, the great verse, the great lyric, the great idea, the great visual presentation that you're going to put together. And then all of a sudden, something that you forgot distracts you from the creative moment. What we want to do is start creating that boundary and that margin where the creative life can flow easily, because you've put aside the time that you need on the other topics, the other things you have to do, so that you can focus on the creative life, so you can focus on the creative project. So when you are looking at either the camera or the canvas, or working behind the lens, or working at the instrument, whenever that happens, your brain and your mind is free, because you do not have those other tasks hanging on you. Now, yes, I know I'm talking to some of you parents. I'm one of them. I know you're saying, that's all sounds great, but I still have these incredible responsibilities that I can't seem to get rid of, and I can't find the time. My last little point to you will be baby steps. Maybe it's just 30 minutes of creative time that you figure out that you're going to get your stuff done, and then you're going to spend that unencumbered time working on your craft, working on your thing, working on your creative project, getting out to a museum, recharging. All of those things are tools you can use in order to stay in your creative space and to be able to maximize the time that you're using. Now, I hope these have helped you. I just kind of went through some of the basics, the tools that I'm using, especially, like I said, the paper planner, and also, one more thing I'll throw in as a bonus. I love this technique. It's called the Pomodoro Technique. Have you heard of this? It's basically a technique of simply making sure that you are taking boundaries and breaks during your day. So the Pomodoro Technique is simply taking 25 minutes at a time, and then maybe taking a 5-minute break, and then maybe you'll do 3 Pomodoros in order to do the work that you need to do, which is 25, 25, 25 with 5-minute breaks, and then you'll take a 15-minute break. People do this in different ways, but I've found it does wonders for my productivity, because, once again, I'm making sure I'm spending time doing what I need to do, and then resting my brain, stepping away, walking outside, and then stepping back into it with a fresh mindset, knowing that I know the boundaries and the margin I've created in my day to finish that task that I have. There's some other cool apps. I know my friend LaShonda Brown is promoting a new app called Groove, which is kind of like co-working, and it also does this segmented time. I would love for you to check out that as well. I'm on the beta. I want to check that out. That's another app that can help your productivity, another tool that I would love to see what you guys do with it, because LaShonda is very excited about it, and I'm love anything LaShonda does because she's one of the friends of God and Gigs. So definitely check that out as well. So I've shared some tools here, some time-saving tools and tactics that should give you back the margin to your day and the mindset and the focus when you do have time, when you do have your schedule set up, whatever you're doing, that you actually focus on the things that you have to do. And that will give you the creative space and mind space to be the creator that you were created to be. Okay, I hope that's helped you. Thank you for listening into this Creative Checkup episode. Make sure you review, subscribe, stay connected with us, because we have more like this on the way, both interviews and strategies and tactics to help you become the creative you were created to be. God bless, and we'll see you next time.